Okay, time to talk about links and get really into them. This is a presentation about links. Hopefully you've read about links. Some of this presentation may not make that much sense, except it'll give you the background because very soon, after we get through this presentation, as part of this video, you're going to be working on a links exercise. And then you're going to do a more complicated link exercise, or at least a different one, this week also. So you really need to throw yourself into links and really commit to learning them. The best way to do it is to get out your code editor, your brackets, or your Notebook++, and just start going to it and trying to make them work, because you can see if they work or not. So talk about links. As I said in my earlier video last week, at the end of last week when I gave you a preview of this, there is absolute links, which is the most common. What we think of a link, we click on a link and we go someplace else on the internet. And the grammar is very simple. It's two tags, an open A, close A. But the A doesn't do anything until we put an href in there, and then we have an equal sign, then we have the URL in quotation marks. So the simplest link to SUNY Plattsburgh is just like this. We put the A href, and the URL goes there, but what goes in between the open and close A is what becomes the linked text. Now, how that linked text appears, what it looks like, and how it behaves, we control a lot of that with CSS, but we're not doing the CSS yet. We're just doing the links in the structure, in HTML. And remember that the stuff inside the quotation marks could be really long, like this long one here, or much, much longer than that even. And that's fine. It doesn't make any difference how long that is. It's still just an open A, close A. The open A has an A href, equals quotation marks, and then what's in between the open and close is what becomes the link, right? Relative links are not to other places on the internet, it's to other places inside your website. So navigation is an example of relative links, but there might be other relative links you might have to go from one page to another. Example would be, it's still an A, it's still an href, but what we have now is the name of the page we're going. It has to be exact with the exact extension and everything. And then we still have linked text, and we still close the A, right? What's important with all links, what the linked text is, both for SEO, but also because we need to be useful, right? And any link that says click here or go to this page or see the website is a disaster. It's a wasted opportunity to get good information in there. We like our links to flow in the normal flow of our sentences and paragraphs. In the case of navigation, we use repeatable regular words like home and contact and about and things like that make sense also. Those are what we make into links, right? But the page we're going to isn't always right there in the folder. If it is we use the name. But what if it's in a subfolder? What if you're already in a subfolder? To go into a subfolder, we give the folder name and slash. To go up to a different level, to get out of a folder that we're in, we do ... slash. And in some of these, this is called the path. So really, what goes in the ahref for relative link isn't just so much the name as it is the path, the full path, but which includes the name. Usually, if it's just the path is no path because it's sitting right there, well, it's just the name. But we can end up with very complicated paths. And working out the path, you cannot do it by selecting from a my computer kind of a bar or something like that. You have to work it out yourself, think it through, map it out, and then decide, is it ... slash or is it folder name slash, and then work out how to get yourself around in that process. And as I said earlier, this is a difficult concept. It also actually applies to images also, because they use the same kind of a path idea. And you really should read carefully that section of the textbook and use the test yourself thing in the back of the chapter too. And as I said, the same path idea works for images. An img src equals quotation marks. What's in here is a path. Go into the folder called mex. It has a subfolder called images, and there find the image called takla.jpg. Of course, in images, we also have alt text. So we're going to be talking about links, but the same ideas work for images, which sometimes makes it hard for people. Sometimes people get links and images mixed up, but they are definitely different. Just to make your world more confusing, later in this presentation, I'll talk about linking an image. An image itself can be a link. Linking within a page. Okay, this is going to be for the links to exercise, which will be another video on. But I'll tell you in this presentation right now that if you have a really long page, and an example we'll use would be like a giant long calendar, and you want to go to the Friday section of that long page, well, then we link within a page. We set an ID within the HTML, and when we link to that with a hashtag value. So it's the same idea. ID, we used the ID before. ID is the place you're going to go to, and you make the link with the hashtag value. So if we could go to the H1 and give it an ID of top, and then we could make a link someplace at the bottom of the page, which uses an ahref and goes to that hashtag. So we can jump around within a page by making links. Is there a different kind? It's not really a relative link. It's just a link within a page. Mail and phone links. They're still used somewhat. They're perhaps less used these days, the directly written HTML mail and phone links. But it's still something good to know. And we'll be using them. You'll be using these in your resume. And you're going to be doing them in links exercise 2. You're going to be making a mail link, an email link, and a telephone link. It's true that for a lot of devices, it has to be the right kind of device with a phone to actually use the phone link, but it'll still be visible. And this is one thing that's different. In mail and phone links, the actual linked text is either the email address, see, the linked text is the email address, or is the phone number. Why? Because some people either can't or don't want to use the actual link. But they do need to be able to see, so they can use it another way, the email address or the phone number. This is the only links where we do this, excuse me, where we actually use the href stuff, the stuff inside the quotation mark to some degree, becomes the actual linked text. And do notice that these are a little different. There's a mail to colon and there's a tell colon. And you can read about these in your textbook also. You can also make a link that downloads a document. Maybe it's probably a non-web document. Maybe it's a PDF. Actually, though, a lot of modern browsers will display PDFs. Maybe it's an Excel file. Maybe it's a Word document. Maybe it's something else. If you have that in a folder sitting there to download, then you can make a link to it. And someone can click on it, and then their device will decide what to do. For those things, though, we usually tell people what it is they're going to get, like it's a PDF. And maybe we'll even tell them how big it is. That's maybe less. We do that probably a little less these days. But the idea is if it's a really big thing, they may want to know that before they click on it, right? We can make, these links could be relative or absolute. It could be a link to a document someplace on the internet, like a PDF, for instance, or something else, or it could be a link to some file, some non-web document right there on in the website that you put up on the server in a folder, and therefore be relative. So it could be absolute, it could be relative. You're going to be doing these in the links to exercise. And linking images. So in the same way that we can use an image, we have the text that goes in between the open and the close A. The open A, the close A, right? And we put text in there, and that text becomes a link. Well, you could put an image in there, and that image can become a link. So I've got my regular old ahref equals quotation mark. It's going to Plattsburgh's website, and I close the A. But what's in between here is no longer any text like SUNY Plattsburgh. The word SUNY Plattsburgh. It's now an image. It's IMGSRC. So the image has to be there in the folder to appear, but the image becomes a link, and you can click on the image and go to the place. So we can link images. Targets, absolute links, whether it be the regular absolute links or download absolute links, can have a target. There may be different targets, but what we really talk about is the target equals underscore blank. This command is what makes a link open in a new tab or window. It's less commonly used now. Years ago, it used to be really common to make targeted links because everyone was afraid if we make links that people will leave the website with the link, then they won't come back again. So we're forcing lots of new tabs or windows. At that point, they were full windows before we had tab browsers to open up. Yes, occasionally this still is used, this idea. When you click on a page and, for instance, of search results, it doesn't just replace your search results, it opens up a new tab or window. Tab these days. This is how you do it. It's just another attribute to the href. Target equals underscore blank goes inside the quotation marks. That makes a new tab open when you use it. So I think it does feel a little heavy-handed to force that to happen because people can make that decision themselves, right? With a right click on a link and choose open a new tab. But maybe it's worthwhile you doing it for some reason. You'll want to know how to do it. Lead-ins and link text. So as I said earlier, the lead-ins and then that means the words before the link and then the actual link text are important. So I made a little chart for you that kind of goes through those. And this is there for download on the Moodle site. Let me make it bigger. And the lead-in text, actually, I would say that this may not be necessary to have any particular lead-in text for absolute links. These days, our links just kind of flow. We don't have to say go to or visit so much anymore. Used to, years ago, but this may not be necessary now. But we do want short descriptive title, not the full URL. It might be the name of the company. It's like the word SUNY Plattsburgh, and it flows in there. And then there's a debate here. Do we want it to open up a new tab or window? We usually let the user decide, and it could be targeted, but I think it's generally best left untargeted. Relative links, they don't tend to have any lead-in text at all because it's usually navigation, and that's the kinds of words it uses. It simply goes to another page. There's no special targeting for that window. In fact, there's no targeting available for these kinds of links at all. You could target the download link. Email link, we tend to say contact me at, and then have the email address, and the email address is linked, right? So there is some lead-in text. And then the actual visible text is the email address, the full email address with the @ symbol. You'll see some people will change that to try to hide it, and there are other ways to hide it we can talk about another time, so that web spiders don't go and collect all these email addresses, but at least for now we'll know how to make the email address. And then the phone is the same way. We actually put the phone number is actually again, it would be some or via phone at, and then the phone number becomes the link. The anchored page, moving within a page, there's no lead-in text. We just use direction like up, down, or where we're going, right? It moves within the current page. Then the download document, there might be a very specific lead-in text and link text that has to do with the type of document that's going to be opened and the size of it. And then how is it going to open? Well, it really varies by computer and by browser and so on. Okay, so we're getting along here, so let me jump into the exercise. So links 1 exercise. What you're going to do is make a project folder called something like link or link 1. And actually, I don't think it's necessary that project folders have such a long name. And a root folder called something like link 1 in your name or links 1 in your name. I think I usually use first name myself. That's fine. Just have your last name. And then within the root folder, I want you to go download. There's in the resource folder here on Moodle, there's a PSU logo. Download that. But then I also want you to go find your cover letter. Remember your cover letter that you'd done earlier, the cover letter 2, when you turned it into, use that bistro stuff on it. Go grab that file from your previous exercise. And remember, there's an image that went with it, that little silhouette image. Go grab that also. Go put those in your root folder too. And go get a copy of your blank. Remember your blank.html that you use to make new pages? Go put that in your root folder. So your root folder will have 4 things in it. 2 HTML documents and 2 images. The cover letter and the silhouette image, the new PSU logo you just downloaded, and then the blank. The blank, I want you to change the name of it to be something like link1 and your name.html. Okay. All right. And then we're gonna the rest of this text describes how you're going to edit that file, and then also how you're going to edit make a minor edit to the new copy of your cover letter, which is there too. And it'd be easier if I just do it, and then you can watch as we do it. Okay, and actually I'm going to show you my folder structure. I'm actually not doing it for my cover letter, I'm doing it for Gina's. We used Gina's earlier, so I'll use hers again. So I've made a folder called Gina Links 1, it's in a project folder, and so on. And I'm missing something, aren't I? Well, let me go get that. I'm going to pause and go get my PSU logo. Okay, I did that. I also changed the name of the blank to link1-Gina because I'm doing this as if this is Gina's stuff. And I can show you. I will open up my cover letter, and it's still working properly. And I'm going to run it. And you see it is Gina's cover letter. That's fine. We're going to make a little edit to the bottom as you are on yours. And I've actually already done some work on the link 1 Gina. So this started as the blank page, right? So I didn't have to retype all the minimum basic structure, but you have to have it in here. So if you didn't make your blank, well then just type the whole thing over again. The dot type, the HTML, the head, so on and so forth. Otherwise, hopefully you're starting with a blank that you've renamed to be your link1 file, .html. And I suggested the instructions that you call the title is something like links I'm looking at. And then for the H1, it could be your name and links I'm looking at, like that, or different, whatever. Then I ask you to make a UL, so an unordered list. And in here, you're going to put the names of some websites you've been looking at. And you can do ones for you, and I'll do ones for Gina, I guess. I'm going to imagine that Gina probably would go look at the Due North website, right? Which is a student publication that she was editor at the time when she was here. She's graduated now. And probably she's also going to do a, maybe she'll also go look at APN, which is a student publication that I am advisor for. We'll call it what it really is All Points Now. Okay, and that's great. So I'm going to save this and run it, and we'll look and see what we got. Okay, we have a very boring HTML page at this time. I'm going to make it bigger for you, though. Right? It's just the H1, a little list, and then I wrote this paragraph here, which you have to write. Of course, I've also been spending some time on the SUNY Plattsburgh website, and then back to About Me. Okay, but we got to put the links in, right? That's the point. These are going to be absolute links. Remember how that works? Like all links, they start with an A, and href equals quotation marks, and they close the A. But the key thing is what goes inside the quotation marks, right? And by the way, if you don't close the A, that link is just going to continue forever. I'm going to do this. I'm just going to copy in these blank ones here. I ask you in the exercise to do, I think, at least 3, but I think 5 would be better. I'm only going to do 2 here, and you can do your own. Don't do the same ones as me. So how am I going to get this stuff to put in here? Well, the way to do that is to go and copy it from a browser. And I have, oh yeah, I've got Due North. Right, that's not Due North. That's her website. Okay, there's Due North. And I'm going to go stick it in here. So I'm not going to try to type the thing. I want to make sure I get it right, so I'm going to do that. And same thing for APN, which is here. I'm going to go grab it. This is the website that I am, the student website I'm an advisor for. It's a lifestyles magazine. And if anybody's interested in writing for it, please get in touch with me. Okay, enough of a plug. No more plugs. Okay. All right. As I said, I want you to do more, not just 2 of them. Okay. Okay. So let's even run it just so you can see that it worked. All right. Due North. If I click on Due North or All Points Now, I go to the website. So it worked. I go back again. I'm back here again. Okay, good. Now I want to, of course, I want to put an absolute link around SUNY Plattsburgh, the word SUNY Plattsburgh, but I also want to put the image in here and make that a link. So let's do that. Okay, let's do both those things. The link that I put around the words is, of course, again, it's an A, href equals quotation marks, and then I close the A after the word SUNY Plattsburgh. Good. And of course, what goes in here is the SUNY Plattsburgh URL. Don't be bothered with the fact that it breaks on the line or not. It doesn't make any difference to it at all. And I will just go to make sure I get it right. I'm going to copy it, and I'm going to stick it in there. In there. There it goes. Good. That will make those words SUNY Plattsburgh into a link. But what about this image thing, right? I want the image to directly follow it. Do you remember how to do an image? I'm just going to put some lines and some blank space in here just so you can see this more easily. And of course, you know how to do an image now, right? img src equals quotation marks. And then alt text also. We should do it. That'd be a bad example if I didn't. I'm going to say logo because that's the description of it. What goes in src has to be the actual name of the thing. And I should go check to be sure what the heck the name is. And the name is just psu.png. That's easy. Unless, of course, something happened on your download, and then it wouldn't be that, right? So let's just save and run this so far. Okay, I got that. It goes to SUNY Plattsburgh and back again. That's fine. Okay, but this is not a link yet, right? Okay, well, how do we make it a link? Same exact way we make anything a link. We just take this in the same way that we have the ahref, the A, open A, and close A around the link text. We have the open A and closed A around the image. So you can see it better. I'll make some space. Remember, HTML doesn't care that I put extra breaks in and stuff. I'm going to copy that link there, put it above it, and I will copy the closing A. I copy the open A, which included the URL, and I'll put the close A down there. And I could write that all as one line. It wouldn't care. It doesn't matter if I do it like this either, right? While I'm here, well, let's do this. I'll just show you that it works. Okay, so I can see my cursor changes now when it goes over that Plattsburgh, the icon. When I click on it, I go there. Okay, good. The last thing is I want to make an about me. This is going to go back to a different page. This is going to be a relative link. This is going to go back to the cover letter. I have a cover letter here. Do I have a cover letter here? Yes, I do. It's called cover. I'm going to make that easier to remember. I'm just going to make it cover Gina. Which, okay. I accidentally put something in there, but I took it out again. Okay, just cover Gina. Okay, good. I think I did. Yes, okay. So we're going to make the link to go to cover Gina. That's the about me area, about me. So about me is going back to the page which is about me, is the idea. So how do we make that? A href equals quotation marks href close the A. Okay, let's go into those quotation marks. And this is going to be, since this full file is just sitting right here, it's just going to be the name of the file. But if it was someplace else, like in a subfolder or in a folder above us, we would have to do some fancy relative path, as you will have to do soon. And what did I say it was? Is that right? I think so. We'll find out in a minute. Save it and run, launch in Chrome, and that's there. And I click on the link, and I screwed up the name of the thing. Okay, let's go find out. Cover underscore Gina. Instead of hyphen, it's an underscore. And there it is. Okay. And now I want to go into my cover letter and put a little line down at the bottom of the cover letter. And it is going to say, to see websites that I've been visiting lately, this is in your instructions, visit my links page. So go to the cover letter. Oh yeah, I just changed the name of a file that was open. It is not like that. I don't want to keep it in my editor. I'm going to go get my rename file. It doesn't like it when you change the name of files that actually you have open at the time. It's cover Gina. All right, and we'll go down to the bottom of this one. We'll do it right in here. We'll say, what was I going to say? Yes. Make a paragraph. Everything has to have a block element. That's another lesson for you. Everything has to have a block element. That's one of the reasons we put the image inside. In fact, I should go back and show you that in a minute. The image went inside a paragraph. Images are inline elements, and to be a block element, it needs to be inside. Everything has to have a block element around it. So we don't just put an image on its own in general. And we're going to write to see websites I've been visiting lately. Visit my links page. Of course, the links page is going to be the linked text. But what's going to go in here? We don't go copy and paste something. We actually have to know the name of the thing, right? The name of the thing. And what is the name of the thing? I think I named the links page just link 1 Gina. Okay, let's save it and run it. So I made that. I'll make this a little bigger so you can see it better. Down at the bottom of the page here, links page. I go links page, I go back here. I go back and forth all day if I want. So we have made a number of absolute links. We turned an image into a link, and we did a relative links between two pages. That's the end of the exercise. I forgot to tell you that back on the other page, I suggested in the instructions that you actually put the image, put a BR in here to force it on another line. A line break. That would be a good suggestion. And I got lucky. Mine went into another line anyway because I'd made it so much bigger for you to view it here. But that's in the instructions. I'll save that. It wasn't change anything in this case. Also, I want to say that in the instructions, we go to find the instructions, which are probably right here. Yeah. You want to see an example? I have a different example here and here. So there are some visual samples of both pages you're going to make here in the instructions too. Of course, the line breaks aren't the same, but you get the idea, just so you can see it. Although with the video, it's probably more than enough. You probably don't even need those. All right, that's the link 1 exercise and a whole link introduction.